and welcome everyone to the February 2021 Yarkshire Gamer Wargaming update. And my word, that month really did fly by. It seems only 2 minutes ago since I was talking to you last month, but here we are with a monthly update, and it's been a busy one. Not necessarily in the painting and building front. We'll see what's new later on in that department. But I've kind of bitten off a little bit more than I could chew at the moment. I've decided to do a podcast, and I'll talk a little bit about that later on. And I'm doing my first ever video run through of a game, which is going on over there. We just use Periscope cam. And I'm doing all this whilst taking part in the Analogue Hobbies Paint Challenge, and trying to do some work, and trying to do everyday life as well. So I haven't got as much done as I thought I would do this month, but there's plenty to show, plenty to talk about, and we'll be back very, very shortly with From the Lead Pile to the Paint Pile. So here's the major production from the month, and if you watched last month you'll have seen the progress of my 28mm Allied Italian Legion for the Punic Wars, and I'd managed to build up an officer base, most of the Velite and the first line of Astarte, and a unit of cavalry from one of two cavalry units that I'm going to do for the Italians. And this is this month's production, and it's 64 figures of 28mm Victrix Italian Allied Legion, and these are painted up to represent the next line, the second line, or the Principe. And with these I've done a little bit more armour, just picked and chosen from the box set, and a lot of the guys in the Astarte had got no armour or little armour, whereas some of the guys in here have got cuirass or have got the larger plated pectoral armour. And I've also, with these, and this is completely historically unknown, I've given these lads in the second line the helmets with two plumes. Can you see what I've done there? That is totally, obviously, completely historically accurate. There's been digs all over the world that have proved this to be a fact. They haven't. It just looks easier on a table, a lot easier. So everything is, as previously, is based on a 60 by 60 base, which is everything what I use for my ancients, and the shields are all from Little Big Man Studios, which do a fantastic range. And as I probably spoke of before about shields with Republican Romans, you can argue for hours about whether they did or they didn't. My camp is Roman stone and Italian allies, because they come from 179 different tribes and hill tribes and cities that they turned up with what they had. And are you going to stop and put in shield designs on? Nah. So and I think it really does bring a unit out. Looks really, really good. Not too keen on them on Romans, but for Italian allies we're going to go for that. So there we go. There's 64 figures of a Principe, which just leaves me with a couple of units left to do, and I'll talk to you about those when we look at that Twerking progress. Next up, we've got second command base for the Legion. I'm going to do I've done two figure command bases. That one will command the infantry, one will command the cavalry, and then I'm going to do a third overall Legion commander. So the unit that you've seen, the 64 figures, is one line of 4 lines of a Legion, and this army, when complete, will have 4 legions. There's already one in the bag. And that's proper big gaming, which is what we like here at Yarkshire Gamer, and a little bit more about that later on in the video. So these figures are Victrix again, from the early Imperial range, and they're rather lovely figures. And all I've done is I've substituted one of the heads on. I do apologise, this camera focus is a nightmare. I've substituted one of the heads from the Legion box set onto the Generals, just to make them a little bit more Republican. The armour is slightly late on these guys, but I'm going for rich commanders with the latest trendy armour on them. That's my excuse, I'm sticking to it, and I think these look quite nice for the Legion commanders. So there we go, that's the Legion stuff. Let's have a look at the couple of oddities we've done this month. And the first one from left field is this guy. And you may remember last month I did 3 figures as part of the challenge. They set you weird and wonderful little side challenges to paint stuff with themes. And I'd done 3 Bradford City related Malifaux figures. And the next challenge along from those 3 figures that we saw last month was to paint something in a grayscale. So just using black and white, and one of the figures from the crew that we saw last month, the Jackdaw crew for Malifaux, is this guy, a guy called Montresori, and he is absolutely massive. And I painted him up in grayscale with just a flash of colour with the Bradford City tie, just to bring out a little bit of detail. And I think he's quite good, actually. I'm quite proud of that. So it's very difficult to photograph. He's actually coming out quite well in this video at the moment. But just to show you how unfeasibly large he is, I'll just grab a figure from the Spanish Civil War game that we're playing. And there we go. That is a 28mm Empress miniatures Spanish Civil War figure. And Empress, they're not massive, but they're not small. And I think he's 60-70mm, something like that. He's a big lad. But that's Montresori, and I'm trying to find an excuse to do the other 2 figures that are in the gang to get them completed before the end of the challenge. We shall see. We'll see what we can get. So finally, we have this little comedy piece is probably the best way to call it, and the next challenge after the grayscale was food or larder, and I was really struggling, to be honest, and I randomly saw this burger van on eBay somewhere, and it's from a company called Ainsty Castings. And Ainsty, if you don't know, carry a range of really weird and wonderful stuff. If you look on their website, there's stuff on there that you need that you had absolutely no idea whatsoever that you needed. So bob on and have a look. So carrying on the Bradford City theme, I've done this up as a burger van. Bantam's Burgers. Bantam's is the nickname of Bradford City, and I've just printed off some club logos and done the Bantam's Burgers, and then we've got Yorkshire Tea and Tetley's Yorkshire Ale on the side there, little just printed off logos. On the side here, if you can see, we've got a menu, and this must be down south, this, because it's bacon butty £4. You're getting a full breakfast up here for £4. That's a lot of brass, that. Nothing on the back other than lots of stains and where years and years of mucky northern rainwater's come off the roof. And then at the side you can see Pat in there with his frying equipment, with the Tetleys and the Yorkshire Ale. And then if you look inside, in the back, let's see if we can get a light on this. Oh, there we go. You can see there's a little picture of frying area and cupboards and some health and safety stuff in there. I don't think they need to do a lot of health and safety, but there we go. there is Pat and Terry and their lovely burger van. So that's everything that I've painted this month. Not that much for me, to be fair. I did drag towards the end of the Principe. I've painted a lot of white, a lot of Romans and a lot of shields in a very short space of time. But not long to go now. So, after the lead part of the paint pile, it's Twerking progress. So here we go, here's this month's Twerking progress, and as always, you should see this finished next month. It's nearly finished, it'll be probably finished tomorrow, but there's always something in motion on the paint table, and I have to say that I am quite disciplined now when it comes to painting. I would have loads of half stuff done, half stuff done units on one side and then pick one up and I never really got anything done, and I managed to discipline myself now to finish a unit that I start. So these are the current in progress, and these are 28mm Aventine Allied Italian stroke Samnite cavalry, and you'll have seen a painted unit of these done last month. There are two units of 12 in this particular legion. I'm not going to say army. 200 figures does not make an army. 200 figures is a quarter of an army in this particular case. And we've got the first two bases here. These are done. And very nice they are too. And quite simple really, it's just white and bronze and flesh and a little bit of brown. And so the two bases at the front are done bar the shields, and then the two at the back are just got the very, very base coat, which is camo German beige if you're interested. That's my base layer for white. So they're going to get layered up today. A couple of people have asked about tutorials and stuff with the white on the Allied Legion, and I'm going to do one when I paint the Triarii. So units left to finish for the Legion are this unit of cavalry. I've got 8 Veletae to finish that I've managed to get some Gripping Beast figures that kind of fit in, so they'll come up next. Then I've got the 32 Triarii and a 3-figure command base for the Legion Commander. So I'm going to do a tutorial with the Triarii, so that should be up in a couple of weeks time, and you can stop pestering me there for a tutorial for the Romans. So that's work in progress. Let's have a look what's come into the Yorkshire Gamer room that's new. So here's some new stuff into Yarkshire Gamer, and I bought a couple of bits and pieces this month, 2 new units and also some terrain. So I'll have a look at those. I do apologise if there's a bit of background noise. I've got it's blowing a hoolie outside, so we are on top of a hill here where I live in Leeds, and it is very, very windy. And we've also got some guys who are replacing the church roof across the road, and they are making a very large noise about it, and there goes next door's dogs barking at them. So this is real life YouTube, none of that soundproofed dedicated studios here at Yorkshire Gamer. So the first unit I've got are these guys, and these are Turcopoles from Gripping Beast. One of the units that I haven't got any of for the Crusader army, and I was looking for some for quite some time, and I've ordered these guys from Gripping Beast, mostly because I needed to get 8 figures, 8 Veletae from to add to the Allied Italian Legion. And while I was on the website, I thought, well, I'm not just ordering 8 figures, that's a bit crap really, isn't it? So I picked up these guys, and these are a bit heavier armour than I was looking for with Turcopiles. but I will paint them up as a unit, as I always do. I'm not going to waste any figures. The horses are particularly nice, I have to say. They'll paint up perfectly with oils. Just looking at the contours on them, they are bob on for my style. So there's 12 figures in there. And then just as I've paid loads for these, Fireforge Miniatures go, oh, look what we're producing, some Turcopiles. so there we go. But there's a lightly armoured and also bow-armed, which is kind of what I'm after. So it'll be a long time before these get painted. I've got, looking over at the 2 paint pile for the horses, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I've got 10 units of horse to paint, minimum 12 figures each. And the horses are painted on those, so these are in a very long line. But they'll come out at some stage when we get back gaming again and we get crusading again. Then I'll get painting these. So let's have a look at the next unit. Viewers will be familiar with these figures. Last couple of months ago, I did a unit of 24 Indian cavalry for World War I for Mesopotamia. Picked up from quite an unusual source that a lot of people weren't aware of, and that's New Line Designs. They do a very small range of 28mm late colonial Indians, and they have the 1903 bandolier on, which means they're perfect for World War I as well. So I've picked another unit up of these. Just after I'd painted the Indian cavalry, they put a 25% offer on these, and they're already decent value anyway compared to a lot of other manufacturers. So I'm a Wargamer, 25% off. I bought another unit. So that's another unit of 24 World War I Indian cavalry. Because we've missed our Christmas game this year with the COVID, we'll be looking probably this Christmas 21, so 10 months away. So they'll be painted for that game, but there's no big rush with these guys. So let's have a look at the terrain that we've got. Okay, welcome to Yarkshire Gamer's New River. I'm in the process of putting together a book, would you believe? And one of the things I want to put in there is some refights, one of which is of a battle called Fornovo, which is the first battle of the Italian Wars, and I needed a big river, and I needed a good looking big river, not any old shite. So I've picked up these, and I have to say I am very, very impressed. These have come from a company called The Last Valley, run by a lad called Andy Walsley from the Humberside area, and I've known Andy through the show circuit for a very, very long time, and I've just never picked any of his stuff up, and I really, really don't know why. I think it's because he's not as visible as some of the other manufacturers on, you know, he hasn't got a website, he's only got Facebook, and it's a little bit clunky for some people. Most people these days just want to click and that's it, and then they get the thing 3 days later. These are handmade, so it takes 3 or 4 weeks to get stuff to come through. They are really, really nice. They are brilliant. I ordered 6 foot of these in foot long pieces, and as soon as they arrived, as soon as I opened the box and I looked at the top piece, I ordered another 6 foot, and I ordered some dry bed waddies as well for all the desert stuff that we do. Just have a look at one of those, and then when that arrives, and I'm sure it will be as spot on as these, then Andy will be getting a massive order for dry bed waddies. And then if everything goes all right with that, I need new hills. So welcome, Andy. You are now, whether you like it or not, the official supplier of terrain to Yorkshire Gamer, and you're in Humberside, which, let's face it, is the East Riding of Yorkshire. So welcome, brother, to the White Rose Wargaming Brotherhood. So again, just look at them. They're ace. Look, he lit up with the lighting for the video, and the Romans in the background. You can imagine that as you know, we're going to get some really, really good photographs with these rivers, and I'm really impressed with them. So thanks, Andy. That's everything that's come into the the Yorkshire Gamer this month. There'll be more rivers next month, as we say. And I've not done any figures as yet that I can remember, though I do have a tendency to wake up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, half asleep, think of something, order it, and then it'll come 2 months later. I've forgotten all about it. I've been looking at some 20mm Arab Israeli, but I've not bitten yet, so who knows, that might arrive soon. So that's how much I've spent, and I've actually done some gaming, would you believe? So let's go frontline. So this is going to be shaky cam all the way through. This is a battle in progress and I'm halfway through filming it. So I'm going to move around the camera, so if you're a little bit seasick, look away now. It's Spanish Civil War, 28mm. And the figures are featured in a couple of places over the years. It's quite an old collection of ours, and we've got some Republican militia hiding in the wood there, and my favourite Spanish Civil War train station. Do like that building. And I'm filming it and I'm using my own rules, so that's making it a little bit interesting because I'm having to explain everything as I go along, but I've quite enjoyed it. We're on turn 4 of 8, and it's a battle at the start of the war, and we've got Spanish Foreign Legion supported by a unit of Guardia Civil moving up the road towards Madrid, and we've got a group of Republican militia who are desperately trying to stop them getting through, and it's going really well so far. Enjoying the filming process. The editing process has taken a long time. A lot more work going into it than I thought there would be. You know, these videos that I do for the monthly updates, if they're half an hour long, I'll spend an hour and a half on them. This is an hour long so far as a playthrough, and I've probably spent an entire day on it so far. So there we go. We've had some action on the table. Let's have a look who is or isn't following Yarkshire Gamer. What's the scores? Yours. Monthly look at personal look at where we are with followers and stuff. It's just interesting to me to see where trends are and what we're doing. Facebook, kind of run out of steam on there now. Plus 11, 10 or 11 every month. Steady away growth. I think I've reached everyone that I'm going to reach on Facebook. I don't see a sudden splurge anywhere, but there's lots of really good contacts on there. And when we talk about the last one at the bottom, the podcast, I've been able to contact people through Facebook to come on as guests. So that's going to be brilliant. Twitter's up 55. I've gone over the 1500 mark, which spurred a little bit of interest, and quite a few people coming in from sort of comic book areas and 40k and other geeky kind of hobbies, which is cool because I'm a geek as well. So come on board, welcome, thank you very much. Instagram, bang through the roof. That's really got traction now, more visitors every month. We're up 85, and as I mentioned before, Instagram for me personally is great because you get so much interaction on Instagram. 880 followers, put a post up last week with a picture of a lanceneck pipe block, 350 interactions. So you're over a third of your followers who are interacting, which is pretty amazing. So it's if it was financial, and this isn't, it would be good bang for your buck if you like. YouTube's again up 45, which is some nice steady growth. I've been getting 40-50 a month. Again, that's starting to get a little bit of traction, and I'm way off the likes of Storm of Steel, the Gods, 2,500-3,000 followers. But let's see. Apparently these battle playthroughs are quite popular, so let's see if that gets us any more followers next month, when eventually that gets finished and released. And then there's a new one, the podcast. I started doing it a couple of days ago, and I agreed to do it in a bit of a drunken state. I downed some whiskey and thought, bloody hell, all these podcasts, they don't talk about big games, I'm going to do one. So I backed myself into a corner with it. A lot of people have been interested in it. So it's happening, and I've recorded the first pilot episode, and that will be released later today. And hopefully on Monday, I'm going to get a couple of friends in, and we're going to do the first episode. So keep an eye out from that. If you do listen to podcasts at all, please support it. I'm trying to get big games back in the limelight, and I know a lot of people who follow me are into big games. I don't do very much skirmish stuff, so if you like 10-a-side skirmishes, I don't know why you're coming to see me, because I only do the Sweeney is the only stuff that I do that's skirmish based. So please, if you see that, it's called Yarkshire Gamers Elite Grand Toy Soldier Adventures. So come along and watch that, or listen to that, and I'll put that up on the YouTube in a couple of weeks' time as well, as a video podcast, just with pictures and figures on. I hasten to add, you won't have to look at my ugly face. So there we go. That's this month. That's February at Yorkshire Gamer. March coming up. We're getting closer now. A couple of my friends have had the first vaccination, and I'm due in the next bunch. So things are looking good. Things are looking positive. We've got something to be look forward to. And I very much hope by the end of summer we'll all be back in here and we'll all be gaming, and everything will be good again. So thanks for watching, and I'll see thee soon.